Hello world, hello Australia. Jamie here, the crypto koala. Now I've got Juan. He is the CEO and founder of Mobu. Mate, good to have you here today. I understand that you're calling from South Africa. So mate, tell us a bit about the crypto scene in South Africa.
Perfect. Hi Jamie, how are you doing? Our audience. We're actually very fortunate in South Africa. We're very crypto friendly. It's very easy to convert crypto to fiat and vice versa. And actually, Bitcoin was, South Africa is the country in the world where Bitcoin was Googled the most last year. So just a fun fact. Yeah. And I think our currency, our fiat currency in South Africa, the rand, devalued by roughly 100% over the past 5 years. So this was definitely something the country used to hedge against political risk and country risk.
Oh, great stuff, mate. Well, here in Australia, it seems like adoption is slowly but surely getting more and more. Projects like Travel by Bit, with Binance recently invested in them to aid adoption in Australia. So it seems like over in here, even with the government with regulations, still more work needs to be done. But over in Australia, it seems quite pro-crypto. So it's really good. So, mate, tell us about yourself. I've had a look at your team. Mate, you've got a colossal amount of advisors. You've got a really big team. Just go over some of them briefly, mate, and tell us a bit about yourself as well.
Okay, perfect. I just want to highlight a few characters there. So we got Brian Golding, who was the CEO of the largest proprietary stockbroking firm in South Africa. So in terms of the regulatory framework, there's nobody that's going to teach him any lessons. One of our advisors, Paresh Masani, was vice president at Goldman Sachs. He's also one of our blockchain engineers and developers. Frikkie van Biljon, our CTO. If there's 5 hours in a day, he'll use all 25 in front of his PC. So I can assure he's also head developer at one of our listed companies, Momentum. So we have no shortage on any tech skills whatsoever. You'll notice three of the top 5 ICO advisors, according to ICO Bench, is part of the Mobu team. We also got Boba, that's the CEO of BlockCrunch Capital in the States. And a few other heavyweights names there, and people giving us access to family offices, networks around the world, and ensuring we get easy listing on exchanges, lower pricing, and all the benefits in the ICO, STO world.
Oh no!
I would like to, sorry to interrupt you there. I would like to emphasize another guy that's not really public knowledge. Most of the team is emphasized on the website. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on that, and we've discussed it so many times, so many YouTube videos. But one thing I would like to add is Isak Viljoen is one of our legal representatives in the team. He's a partner at Barnard Inc., a legal firm in South Africa, and he's a mining lawyer by trade, and he's got access to 7.3 trillion rand worth of mining assets all over Africa. And we should tokenize those mining assets. This is great. Some of them are of some great companies, and there's no middlemen involved. So this is definitely a great opportunity.
That's brilliant, mate. I noticed that you've got quite a few people that are developers. So they've got a broad range of skills in the tech industry, blockchain industry, that's going to help you build what you want to build. So that's really good, mate. So, mate, tell us what Mobu is.
Okay, perfect. Good question. So Mobu is the issuance platform for launching a compliant security token, and as of recently, also the licensed security token exchange. We actually had a plan 2 years front in our roadmap, but due to the difficult market environment in the blockchain crypto space, we were forced to make our value proposition better for investors. And we recently got the opportunity, my partners and I are selling out of the asset management company and got introduced to the specific stock exchange. And they gave us the opportunity to buy 15% of the stock exchange. Legally, I don't know if it works worldwide, globally like this, but in South Africa, no individual company may own more than 15% of any licensed stock exchange. And we'll also be 100% sole broker for all security tokens. So this is a huge market, and I personally think Crypto exchanges is one of the most lucrative business models in the world. We saw Binance making $200 million profit last year, just being a utility token exchange. And now we're seeing a lot of exchanges claiming to list security tokens, but they don't have the actual licensing involved, and the SEC and other regulatory bodies are not going to be kind on them, if I can put it that bluntly.
So, mate, I understand, but I can get what you're saying. It's so important that if you've got a DEX, that you have the sort of the regulation behind it. If you're going to offer security tokens, you've got to be able to deliver that. You've got to be able to have the back end.
Perfect.
So, mate, I understand that you're on Ethereum, you're utilizing Ethereum smart contracts. How is that going to help you? How is that going to help you with your exchange? How it's going to help you with your project?
Okay. First of all, I think it's important to note we're blockchain agnostic. We're also in talks with WanChain. They're actually considering doing an investment in Mobu, as well as Charles Hoskinson from Cardano and EOS as well. So first of all, I want to point out we're blockchain agnostic. And I think what is important, and as for any blockchain project, is to have actual blockchain use. And also be to set the rules that govern the issuance of the security tokens and program them into the smart contracts on whichever blockchain, so the information is transparent and immutable. Now, practically all that means, let's use America, for example. If we do a Reg C, a STO wanting to use our protocol, wanting to do a STO, and let's say that for argument's sake, they just want to raise $1 million, and they're doing a Reg CF, the token will know they can only raise $1 million, and it will be capped at that. And also, if they, let's say for argument's sake, do a Reg D offering to the states, only accredited investors from the states may participate. The tokens will know these features, and it will be controlled by the blockchain at the end of the day.
Oh, great stuff. So, mate, what do you think within the future with Ethereum scalability? Do you think that that's something that won't be a problem to you guys in the future? Do you reckon now on top of it, looking years down the track with Raiden, Casper, like Shardon, and all them sort of good things that they're looking at fixing the scalability in the future? Do you think that you're confident in that will happen?
I'm going to give you the honest answer on this. And once again, as mentioned, we're blockchain agnostic. So I'm not really too concerned what Ethereum does or don't do. Our tech team, I can assure you, is on the ball in terms of this. And I think they will give you a 100% better answer. But in terms for now, and all practical reasons why we need the blockchain, Ethereum for now works for us. But we can easily move to any blockchain as we please. So I don't see any concern with this, and for all practical reasons, this is not going to affect our growth potential going forward.
So just thinking of what traditional investing, so think of as a traditional market compared to the blockchain. How do you think the blockchain's better, like, than the traditional methods?
Okay, good question. First of all, the JSE, let's use South Africa Stock Exchange JSE as an example. Now, it used to be a T+5 settlement. It recently changed to T+3, meaning it takes 3 business days after you sell your stocks in company X before you receive your money back. And everything in the world is moving towards real time. Now, we'll have a T+0 settlement time, so we don't take credit risk for a start. Investors can have easier access to their own capital, faster change of ownership, less middlemen, cross-border. We will allow local, and the license allows for both local and global listings. And also the license don't need a sponsor company for listings, and the listing requirements is very low. It's 3 million Rand, which is roughly about $200,000 by market cap for a company. So yeah, that's more or less, and of course the information is more transparent and immutable. Yeah,
brilliant, great stuff. I understand with blockchain as well, you're anti-money laundering, it stops fraud, and it's you're able to see it as a ledger. You'll be able, it's transparent. So mate, tell us that so 98% of, as you know, of ICOs within 2017, 2018 raised the bulk of the funds. So you've got the 2% that was the securities market. So it seems quite a small amount, but look, an untapped potential. So how can you guys assist these STOs, these upcoming STOs?
Okay, perfect. Good question. Now, the problem statement, one among many, is clearly a regulatory, legal, and technical nightmare launching a compliant security token. And we're making it, first of all, very user-friendly for everybody launching an STO on our platform. And also, we potentially provide funding for good STOs. And that is the reason why anybody is doing an ICO, STO, whatever the case may be. Now, just to give you an idea, we recently converted from an ICO to STO ourselves, and I think it's a lot of discussions, but one point being the ICO model is flawed in the sense of it proved the potential of how easy cross-border funding it can raise, and the model in terms of funding raised, but you need some kind of form of regulation to protect investors. That is the biggest concern and biggest problem currently. Too many ICOs ran away with the money, and there's no how can I say, they can't be held accountable for what happened. They didn't develop as planned. Now, with the STO, that will be possible. There's a lot, it is regulated at the end of the day. Now, just to give you an idea, we spend, of course, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to this point of legal framework. But when somebody launches an STO in the current environment, they think if they just exclude America and do a KYC, they comply. And that's definitely not the case. Just to give you an idea, you need some things you need to consider in terms of bounty, airdrop, etc. in different jurisdictions. Bounty mostly in most jurisdictions has been categorized in two categories. It can be seen as work or as prizes. And the difference being is the expected action. And our work will typically be, in terms of bounty, something like translations or content creations, etc. And legally, how we get around that is just those advisors need to send us invoices now, and they're seen as a form of influencer. And in terms of the prizes, we're looking at lotteries, the Twitter engagements, etc. What we need to consider there is the tax aspect. Now, it mainly depends if the company has any value. Are we launching a startup? Is there underlying asset already? And then there's a tax implication in that. In our jurisdiction, in South Africa, if there was already underlying asset, there will be a donation tax of roughly 20% that would have been applicable. But we're going to buy the exchange after the raise, so that's not definitely the case. Also, we need to adapt the KYC AML, the money laundering procedures. That is compulsory for a start. And we also have the terrorism, DCF policies. We've got money laundering policies in place. And our airdrop is also seen as giving free securities away. So once again, you need to look at the jurisdiction where you launch it. And in South Africa, we're legally allowed to give it away. There may potentially be a tax implication, but since the company is a startup, there's a zero value beforehand, so there's no tax implication. You can make the par value, I think is the English word, anything you want at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter. It's something simplistic as well. And in Switzerland, you're not allowed to use the term Softcap. And yes, and we shouldn't actually give so much information away, but just to give you an idea how many technical aspects there are. To make sure we comply with Europe, we're not going through the FCA, we're going through Switzerland. They got a regulatory framework in place. So we're submitting a prospectus at FINMA, and once that is approved, we do what the lawyers refer to as a passport, and we automatically comply with all 28 countries of the EU. And we're also going to submit prospectuses in Canada, Singapore, Mass. One thing we're actually not doing, and going forward this will be more strict, but Hong Kong and China, we're not submitting anything there.
Yeah,
they're very open in all honesty, and we're not marketing too aggressively there. So we're gonna take that chance. But clearly you can see, and we also need to convert the private company in South Africa to a public company now and make some amendments to the Memorandum of Incorporation. So it's clearly a lot more than just excluding America and doing a KYC to be a compliant security token. And this is something the Mobu platform that implements our unique protocol will allow STO issuers around the world to get legally raise more capital for their businesses.
It's interesting you said about Switzerland the other day where they announced that they approved the first ETF. So it seems like they're the leaders in Europe. It's just really interesting news the other day, hey?
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. I think Malta and Liechtenstein are not too far behind, but I will tend to agree with you in terms of sentiment as well, to be very blunt once again. I think Switzerland has the aura of being a finance hub more than Malta. Malta seems a jurisdiction for laundering money. The talks I've been to with some of investors, that is the feeling I've received. So that is... I would fully agree with your statement regarding Switzerland.
So just a bit more in the US, because I know you're trying to be compliant globally, with every, it's a big challenge. It's a very big challenge, and I guess that what makes your project so special, you know, because to undertake that and to solve that is pretty big thing. So just with the US. All the stuff that's going on at the moment with the SEC, do you think that you'll be able to assist a startup company in the US that wants to conduct an STO? Do you think that you can do what needs to be done to be compliant with the regulations?
Yeah. So we, at the end of the day, we're doing an STO ourselves. So there's no gray area. We are a security, and every STO launching on a platform is a security. So there's a defined framework for this in place. I'm not going to go. If you ask anybody in America of the SEC, they will state every ICO is a STO at the end of the day, because they don't. 99% of majority of all ICOs don't pass the Howey test for a start. They claim to. And it's a term that's been thrown around too much. No, we are a utility token. And as I just said, majority of them don't pass the Howey test.
Yeah.
So in terms of going back to your question, we did a SEC exemption. We got a Reg D private placement offering in the States, complying with Section 506C. So 506C allows us to solicit market. We don't need to submit any type of audit reports, etc. And the Reg D only allows for accredited investors to invest. That's unfortunately our current situation, because we wish to raise more than $1 million. And our legal teams, Access Legal, representing us in the United States, gave us this advice. And we're fully confident we're complying with all laws globally.
Brilliant, great stuff. So, mate, tell us about the unique escrow feature that you have, and just sort of stepping off with being compliant with the investors. How does that escrow feature, you know?
Perfect. Okay, so currently we see a lot of ICOs. If you're sitting in Australia and you want to invest in a company in Kazakhstan, for all that matter, you don't have line of sight or don't know these people, this company personally, and they can relatively easy, we've seen over the past, relatively easy run away with your capital. In a mobile environment, that will not be possible. So we saw ICOs raising 100, 200 million odd dollars last year. Don't tell me you need all that capital on day one. In the mobile environment, what this unique escrow entails is the STO issuer will not have 100% access to the capital on day one. It will be funded on a pro rata basis, protecting investors and ensuring a higher return on investment for all crypto investors going forward as well. The STO issues will be funded on a pro rata basis per month, and if the investors get the feeling that they're not developing the product as they say, or not adhering to roadmap, they can request a refund at any stage after STO and be refunded on a pro rata basis.
Oh, brilliant. That's good to hear, mate. So, yeah, that sort of explains it. You explained it really good there. So, mate, moving on to your ICO itself. So, with your actual ICO, what are you looking at doing with the funds that you raise?
Okay, very good question. So, first of all, we're going to develop the platform. We've already disclosed that on our website, the front end. We've got a technical paper around the back end works. We've circled that to some large investors, and we'll gladly forward that to anybody on request. So the first, most of the money will go for the development of the protocol and the platform. We will also allocate $2 million will go to the buy of the stock exchange, and building the community, also marketing and ensuring adoption of the Mobu going forward. And we have what we call Mobu initiatives. Now, it's the crowd farming, the Forex spam accounts, the stock exchange actually is one of them. So that's basically more STOs we're developing on the platform to ensure actual usage of the Mobu token. See that as actual clients launching on the Mobu platform to ensure from day one we're profitable. From day one we got actual usage, and we got a product, a live product there. And we don't need to, because I saw from Polymath, our competitors, Polymath and Securitize, their biggest issue is they don't really have clientele, and the other issue is they don't have sound tokenomics. There's no reason for a price increase in their token for investors. So hopefully that answers your question. I'll say, to summarize it, 50% development, 50% marketing, and building of the development, because that is going to ensure the future adoption of Mobu.
So what happens if you don't raise your funds?
We already reached Softcap. So we have enough capital to develop the platform and the protocol. And we're currently in talks with private investors, and we got soft commitments of another $6 million roughly. But you know what they say, cash is king. So until that money is in the bank, it doesn't mean much. But we just employed 3 more capital firms. We assist with raising capital. I don't think that will be a problem, and we are definitely in a very good position.
Good to hear. So, mate, tell us about, I hear you've got like a gold Chrome tokenization idea. What's that about?
So would you mind explaining that? Say that again.
So it's something I noticed.
Oh, the gold Chrome operation. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that is basically, you'll see Mike Prinsloo as one of the confirmed issuers. He's said to be the man that's moved the most physical gold around the world ever. And the idea is to tokenize some of the mining assets. We also have what makes Mobu a very good product at the end of the day is we really approach clients and our confirmed issuers, as we call them on our documentation. Wayne van der Berg is one of the largest private coal miners of Africa. He actually stays 2-3 streets here away from me. And he started a $1 billion coal mining company called the Van der Berg Group. And we're going to assist him in tokenizing a few coal mining operations as well.
Oh, brilliant. Because there's them sort of investors that are looking at financial institutions, that could be something that they're interested in, Going back to the previous like GFC and things like that, there wasn't cryptocurrency, there wasn't Bitcoin as an alternative form of investing. So it's like, with gold, with mining, you've got that plus cryptocurrency, you've got some sort of diversification there. So mate, moving on a bit now, are you familiar with the Next Exchange by any chance? That's on Neo?
No, sorry, not.
So So it's NEX. It's basically a similar thing to what you're offering in terms of being the first DEX to for STOs, basically for security tokens. So I just thought it might be something that you might be familiar with, because it's just look, the arms race to be the first. I just thinking even if you had 3 or 4. There's plenty of room in that area. It just shows that there is that demand, and I think that it's going to be the future. You know, it's a big thing to do. You know.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with them, but as you mentioned, there's definitely room for more than one player. And in all honesty, and I know we're going to change the white paper to a certain extent there. I know we mentioned we are the decentralized exchange, but in all practically, and unfortunately after all the legal consultation, I can't see how that is humanly possible, because you will need to have the license requirements and the reporting standards. Somebody still needs to adhere to those rules. And I think the biggest players, they're potentially going to be T0, that raised $250 million. So clearly, competition once again proves you're solving an actual problem. There's other areas of blockchain you can implement to ensure benefits, lower fees, transparency, cutting out middlemen, etc., etc. But be fully decentralized on the exchange side, I think personally is humanly impossible.
So I'm guessing,
License. Utility space, that is doable, but in a licensed security token exchange, because somebody needs to report, and I can't see that being the case in the security world.
Yeah, so I guess like to be compliant to reach some regulations, it's very hard to be completely decentralized to tick all them boxes. 100%. So I can understand the challenges there.
On our issuance platform, the long-term goal is to become decentralized there. But initially, since the market is so corrupt currently, in all honesty, we're going to vet all the service providers before they get approved on the platform. And that automatically makes us centralized. But that is to ensure adoption, create credibility in this industry, which is far more important right now than decentralization. And I spoke to a guy, Ezekiel Osborne. He's on the front page of Forbes Middle East, and he had a very valid point. He said decentralization is last year was almost proof that it doesn't really work. People should thank the banks that they protect them against themselves. People buying Bitcoin at $20,000 with their life savings just proves to you once again some form of regulation is needed. And so our first point will be on the protocol development side, the issuance platform, to get vetted service providers and ensure people's money don't get stolen by people who claim to be lawyers or claim to be escrow accounts, etc. Because there's the potential of losing too much capital.
So, what do you think of the future of ICOs and STOs? Where do you think, it's going to go, mate?
I believe, like Brock Pierce said, and then we've got it on our website, next year will be the year of security token offerings. I think maybe 2020 or 2021. It's going to take a lot. A lot of people got hurt last year in the big bear market. But I think security tokens, we saw the .com era, we saw the social media era. Last year we saw the utility token era. The next big thing, I believe, is going to be security tokens. It's just simply more efficient than security exchanges worldwide.
Great stuff. Thank you, Julian. Well, guys, I'll put down the links down below. If you want to check out their project, if you want to invest. And of course, I say in all my videos, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. Check them out. See if you like them. They've caught my eye. So, yeah, guys. So, thank you for your time, mate. It's greatly appreciated. And you have a wonderful day, mate.
James, thank you. Thank you for all the viewers listening.
Great. See you, mate. Bye.
Yeah, keep on.